Welcome. So glad to have you all here. My name is Eddie Andreo. I am the Associate Vice President for Distance Learning, and this is Penny. Penny, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I am Penny Ralston-Berg. I am a Senior Research Instructional Designer with Penn State World Campus, and I'm also Chair of the Quality Matters Instructional Designers Association. We have any IDA members in here? Yay, if you're not, stop by the table and talk to us later. All right, very good.
So we're really glad to have you here today. And today we're going to talk about getting the most from your ID. What can your instructional designers do for you? So I walked around a little bit early before we started and handed out some sticky notes. How many of you are IDs? How many of you are faculty members? How many of you do everything? All right, so we're going to talk about that today and really get down to the nitty-gritty of what we really do and what we can do to build that bridge and work together.
Where's the clicker? Is this yours?
No, sorry, it's the flip it over.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I know. I was trying to do the clicker. So, okay, so the things we're going to talk about today are skills and roles, also known as hats. You know, how many hats do you wear? We'll also talk about key questions to ask. If you're trying to start a collaboration with an ID or with a faculty member, what are some questions that you can use to get the conversation started? And then we'll also talk about strategies and things too. So you all have toys, right? Everybody has kind of a noisemaker. And so we try to make the session really interactive. And so what we'd like to do is that there's going to be a lot of sharing and discussion.
Moving around.
Yes, moving around. But as a thank you and kind of a fun thing to do for your fellow attendees, if you hear a tip or something that's you think is great, I'm going to use that, give a little applause with your noisemaker. So that'll give some positive feedback. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just blinded myself again. So so we'll be sharing that and make some noise. And then just to get to know each other a little better, we did the IDs and faculty, so we have a variety there. What about, are you a cat person? Cat versus dog, cat people? Yeah, dog people. Ooh.
Oh, sorry, cat people.
Yeah. Okay, the next one's like sweet salty. So how many prefer the sweet flavors?
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
salty, that's not bad. Together. Yeah, trail mix with everything. Yeah. How about nature, out in the great outdoors? City life, metropolitan, right? Okay. How many people want to provide quality online courses for students?
Wow.
Hey.
Imagine that.
All right. So no matter what side of the fence we're on, designer or faculty, that's always the one thing we have in common is that we're all, in it for the students, and we want to make our quality online programs and courses. So the roles that we'll talk about. Designers can wear a lot of hats, but the core of what instructional design is really about learning strategy and alignment and making sure that you have clearly defined objectives and you have activities and assessments that promote and measure those objectives. And so it's really about the learning experience. And as subject matter experts is probably the most obvious role, although they also wear many hats. Faculty also wear many, many hats. But in the design process, their role is primarily the subject matter expert. And most often also the instructor of the course when it's finished. Right, sometimes that's different, that's two different people, but for the sake of this, we'll just put SMEs in that group. SME is an instructional design lingo thing, which means subject matter expert. And so if someone calls you a SME, it's not like one of the new insults that the kids are saying now.
It's not a bad word.
An actual thing. Yeah, it's actually a compliment because it recognizes expertise.
Who's a character
Who?
in Pinocchio?
SME? I didn't know that. You'll have to send me more details about that later because now I've got like a slide cartoon going in my head. Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, so and then technologist, and I think this is the one that has a lot of confusion. And so there's design learning strategy, but there's technologist learning technology. And so there's a difference between why you would use something and how you would use something, where the technologist is more of the how-to part of it. And then the media specialist, I think about it as presentation of content. So if you have a video or a visual or you're going to create some kind of table or graphic, you might need someone that has expertise in creating things for presentation on the web to make sure all of the students can view it and use it. So that's kind of the way I categorize that. Tech support is your help desk, right? Thing, the IT admin, we think of as the LMS manager, the person who does the setup of the systems and the person who gets called when the systems go down. And so that's how we kind of break it down for today. It's just there are more roles involved in individual institutions, but this is the snapshot. Yeah.
So now we want to start talking and thinking about what you personally do and start laying those out. We were going to do this on the wall, but we realized the walls are not very conducive to sticky notes. So we're going to do it on the tables up front. What I want you to do is actually take your sticky notes, and I want you to take some time to think about what role you fill. Are you a designer? Are you a SME? Are you a technologist? Are you a media specialist? And if you can, be very specific. And if there's a specific title that you use, go ahead and write that down in your sticky note. But what I want you to do, and we've actually figured out a pretty good way, and there's going to be some tripping, we know that. If you don't have sticky notes, look to your friend to the left and say, may I please have a sticky note? I want you to write a separate role for each of your sticky notes, okay? Because what we're going to do is actually build.
She's thinking this might take a while. You just have that look on your face like it might take a while.
We have allotted some time to do it. So I want you to write down whether you're a designer and any specifics about that. And I want you to bring up your sticky notes and I want you to lay them out because we're going to get a sense of how many designers we have in the room, how many SMEs, how many technologists, media support, faculty, things like that, okay? So we're going to give you about 5 minutes to do that. And when you're done writing those down, I want you to bring those up here. We're going to lay those out on these tables up front. Okay?
Anthony, can you come down here? Sorry. I should have told you sooner.
Correct. Well, if you have multiple hats, so I consider myself as an ID, but I'm also an administrator.
Yeah, then write that on a sticky note.
I teach as an adjunct, so that's partly faculty, right? So I do have some subject matter expertise in my background, as well as I handle tech support for student support services.
We have the categories.
And so I handle the LMS migration of data transferring from the SIS to the LMS. So I've got a lot of stickers, right? A lot of handouts, lots of hats.
You want me to take yours for you? What category? Yeah, right.
Yep. And you can specify, are you talking about media versus content or LMS? Right. And
yes.
Yeah.
We're just trying making a big bar chart. So
So you have the LMS piece of it, but then you have the media side of it. Those
Ooh, the
two,
first
you can probably
technologist.
separate those out.
You're number one.
All right, this is a very interactive session. If you're still sitting, that means you are not doing your part.
They have too many roles, Eddie. They're too busy.
Perfect. Now, if you'll bring those up
Great.
to the table.
Thank you.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. You must be a designer. No.
I am. And
Yeah. Too bad we don't have all the power. Yeah,
just like some budget.
right. Right.
That'll be, and you have another column up there. Oh, good. And it, you know what?
Yeah.
That's not really IT. Yes. But it's actually the role. All right, so the traffic jam is getting better.
Yep. We're
And Jim's doing a poll online too.
okay.
And they're very active.
Okay, great.
He's going to take a picture of that.
Okay, awesome.
We did add an additional column for other. So nothing, you can't line up your sticky note.
We have quite a few other.
What color would that other hat be?
Black. I heard someone say black. Is that the color of doom or what? Okay, that's fine. And you can stick some on top of one another if you just need to stack them up, that's okay. So we'll just put some of these designers up here, yeah. We'll just do that. Designers.
I like that one.
Designers. What's this? I like course developers. It's all about design. Yeah, design. There, I think we got our row back.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, media's over here. Media.
Media is here.
Yep. Yeah.
I love that I see those that have designated as faculty members, you still have some designer roles. Good for you.
Yeah. Design.
That's fair. Thank you.
Yeah.
Somebody give him a little bit of a shake.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
This is awesome.
This is really, really good. Thank you for doing that. So, Penny?
Yeah. So from the looks of the table, we have a lot of this, right? So team of one, how many people are a team of one, right?
And how many do multiple roles?
Multiple roles.
And be proud of that.
Lots of
Raise your hands
roles.
high.
Or shake your maracas.
Shake your maracas. There you go.
There you go.
Blow your whistles, toot your horns.
Yeah, so it's, you know, it's in this job, it's all about kind of adapting and seeing a need and trying to meet it. And so we do end up in lots of roles like this. Anything else you want to say about that?
You know, so now our purpose of today's discussion is, you know, what sort of questions could faculty bring to the instructional designers? You know, instructional designers do some amazing things, but do your faculty members know what you actually do? So let's talk about those. We want to actually build a Google spreadsheet of those list of things. I want this to be a very open discussion, and I'll even bring the mic around so those that are online can hear. And I want to know what you, from your perspective as a designer, do. What do you do?
Probably one of the questions I get asked most often is what the faculty can do to make their online courses quality matters compliant. And we actually provide a course design checklist for them to follow that also has tips about the different standards to help them accomplish that.
What's your name?
Yeah.
Luis, thank you.
Yeah, well, that was loud. And we also have this Google Doc open that's free access. So if you'd like to type some, and I know that we have quite a few people online that are watching the stream, they can actually jump in here too and add things if they'd like to participate, add to the list.
If you're mic shy, this is the way to do it.
Yeah, this is the introverts option, which is what I would be doing if I were here.
So I consult with a faculty member, and I try to calm the waters because they're usually very freaked out about having to be online. So I'm a very reassuring, stable person for them so that they'll relax and we can get the job done.
You say you're a counselor.
Yes.
So I wanted to say that I think in the beginning, a lot of the professors would come and they would ask how to fix their course. And now they're starting to feel more comfortable, and they might be coming to ask more like, what can we do to help them make their courses more engaging? And I think in our university, it depends. We have 5 IDs, and so it depends on which ID you get and which ones maybe you've like forged a relationship with, so that I can think of a couple of IDs in our department who might be like, this is how you do it, kind of cookie cutter. And when they get me, I'm like, okay, let's have them go out and do something, you know, just a little more interactive, more out of the box. And that has to do with my personal experience with online learning as a online learner. So, so I think the faculty are getting more comfortable in bringing a diverse sort of question set to us.
Yeah, that makes me think of another tip. That's when we're working on that relationship and discussion, sometimes the first few questions are technical. And so if you're having those conversations and then you plant a few seeds like, and here's the reason from a learning strategy point of view, why this is better than another choice, or why, and you kind of, I call it the old switcheroo, because they come with the technical question and then you give them some design in there with it, but it's kind of disguised as technical answer. Why you would do it this way, and that gets it like pointed in a different direction, that you can do things in that direction too.
I really like this one. It says, "Can you be with me as I try, training wheels in the most respectful way towards those who need it?"
Yeah, that's great because it's not an instantaneous change. It's a long journey. So it's like adding skills along the way, planting seeds. Yep.
Any others? Mary.
I really wish faculty would just come to me with the most wild ideas, because there is no such thing as one standard in online learning. There's so much we can do. And I just need them to come with just the craziest, most outrageous things, and we can make it happen.
Yeah.
And so when I tell them that, I usually get that look of, what are you talking about? Nobody's ever said this to me before. But there are no boundaries. It's phenomenal what we can do online.
Yeah.
And so I really keep telling the faculty, don't tell me just what you do in class. What do you really want to do? Tell me the craziest thing you want to do, and we can make it happen. It's just, we'd have to put it more academic, but we can make it all happen. It's not hard. It's just time consuming, but I really wish they wouldn't hold back.
Mhm.
And I keep working with them to keep telling them, don't say no to yourself, brainstorm, come up with the wackiest things, because they know what their students want already. They already know how to engage their students. They just don't know how to do it online.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm there for, to make it happen for
Yeah.
them. I just really wish they would just be a little bit more flexible and willing to say, is this possible? Sure, we'll figure out a way to make it possible, but there's no boundaries.
Mhm. Good.
Thank you, Mary. One of the conversations that I have with my faculty is, we're a Quality Matters institution, so we're always constantly talking about design. And I tell them, let me be your builder, okay? So I'm helping you build a home. Let me be the foundation, the structure, and then you come in and you pick out all the colors, the furniture, the fixtures, okay? That's part of what having that collaborative experience is about, working together, right? We have the experience as IDs, and you have this experience as SMEs, and it's a great relationship to have and work together. So, any others?
Here's some sample questions that we thought just about the relationship in general and getting to know each other as, like, what are you passionate about? Why do you teach this subject? Why did I become a designer? How did I get here? What am I really interested in doing? Those kind of build a collaborative start.
So what we want to do is actually start, put you together, working in pairs or even maybe even a little bit bigger groups.
Wait, I don't want to
And
do that.
begin asking those questions. What can the instructional designer do for you? What can the instructional designer provide? And how can we support you? So the best way of doing that is, and I know this is kind of picking on the faculty, but we want to have those conversations right now. So for those of my faculty members, how many are in here? Show your hands. All right. So we have about almost 10, right? So if I could have those faculty members actually split up and be kind of that voice for your faculty, and then probably we're looking at about a 5-to-1 ratio, which is fine. That's really awesome for the faculty. So you have 5 different perspectives. So if you will find a place, raise your hand. I want the faculty members to raise their hand and find a spot, and then IDs, I want you to swarm to your faculty members. And we're going to spend about 5 minutes talking about what you need.
It's good. Yeah. Yeah, if we do 5 minutes for this one, and is it 10 after?
Oh, yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah.
So give them 5 minutes, 5 till.
Yeah, it is 10 after, isn't it? Let me check on the app.
I think so.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, 11:10. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and if we do have folks online who want to share, the Google Doc is still open, so they can move down to the next section, and there's a special spot for that. Yeah. Yeah.
Too.
Oh,
I'm going to ask you to, if you would,
Yeah.
write what we call a views article,
Okay.
which could be like 800 to 1,200 words
Okay.
on this presentation.
Oh, yeah.
Because this would be great. I mean, like,
Oh,
how,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, this, we don't publish stories like too many stories on like how to do
How
something.
to write.
Right.
Not,
You guys can do that. You
not
know,
training oriented.
right. But you
Yeah.
guys in a what we call a views article
Yeah.
can do that. And
Right.
say, you know, based on.
In like a tips and advice kind of way. Yeah. Okay.
But I'll talk to you after.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Great. Yeah. 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 Right. Plus we have data now. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. We got about a minute and a half left.
About a minute and a half left.
Yeah, they're just continuing up there, but it's okay. It's all getting captured. But we've got like 7, well, all these people are active on the Google Doc right now. Yeah. 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 There's so much data on that table right now. I'm like, I don't know how to like preserve it so they're still categorized. I wish I had a bunch of Ziploc bags so I could just like, yeah. Yeah, I have big sheets of paper. I can fold them up in individual. Yeah, but I mean, take one sheet of paper, put them all on it, and fold it up so they keep separate. Yeah, and then I can put them into a spreadsheet later. Yeah, yeah. I know. It's like, I feel like it's Christmas. So we definitely have to do this next year. Yeah, more faculty. Yeah, yeah.
All right, go ahead and wrap up that last thought.
That's time.
Okay, it's time. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that. I want you guys to stay. Don't move back. Stay in your groups. Tell me. I want to learn more from your conversations. I heard some really okay. I could really pick on the faculty right now. Have you been talking for 5 minutes? It's not a lecture. What were your key takeaways? First off, was this helpful? Yeah? Did you find anybody you wanted to hire and bring to your institution? Right? This is how you collaborate. Find new jobs. All right, so the Google Doc continues. We want to continue this conversation and document what we've talked about. So we're going to continue to share out. Tell me what you learned from your IDs. Faculty, tell us.
They have great ideas how to do lecture online in short segments, like 7-minute video with areas for feedback and discussion.
Perfect. How? How are they doing that?
Through using the LMS.
Perfect. Very good.
I think that's kind of noise-worthy.
Yeah, give her some noise. Woohoo! Who else? Sneak through. Thank you.
Well, I've learned about the voice thread that our LMS is able to provide, and I can do a virtual office visit with a few students, or I can also use asynchronous voice threads in a different way that I've been doing discussion board now.
Give her a round of applause, give her some noise. Right, so as designers, if you use a collaborative product such as Collaborate or Zoom using live office hours, are you faculty? Tell them what you said.
Which part? So I'm both faculty and ID, and so I was tagged to put together an abnormal psych class 2 weeks before school started because of an instructor quitting. Yeah.
How many of us have done that? Yeah.
And so it was almost like being schizophrenic because I would, as the faculty member, go, oh, I want to do this, and then the ID side would go, whoa, let's try it this way. And it was going back and forth, and I was supporting myself, but I gained a lot of insights into the fact that faculty members need that. I'm going to be right there with you as you try. I'm the one that said the training wheels, and I did not want it to sound derogatory or negative in any way, but that's what it is. We're moving faculty members towards using these very powerful tools that can be scary. So.
Great, thank you. Give her some noise.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to touch on one of the aspects of online learning. As a learner, as a student in an online class, and now as the designer,
After this.
just really want to say that it's super important to understand that as a faculty member, it's okay to send your students outside of the computer to do their work. And so, I mean, I've been in several online classes, and I mean, I took an art history course, and you know, one of the ideas was go to a museum and do XYZ, whatever it was supposed to be, and then come back and share your XYZ with fellow classmates, and they can share with you as well. And then in my master's course, I had a horrible teacher in one of these classes, and he thought he was accommodating me, but he was actually accommodating the face-to-face folks. And he had like a separate syllabus for me as he did for the online, the face-to-face people. And I was like totally confused by all this. But one of the things he had for the students to do that were in the online, or pardon me, the face-to-face course was he was having them go to like school board meetings, and he was having them go to directors meetings. And then he was like, no, you don't have to do that. You're an online learner. And so I'm here to say that online learners like will embrace this. And so have them go out and have them do these things. You do not have to keep them inside the box. And so they're happy to go do that. Just give them enough time to schedule that, as you would anyway, the face-to-face folks. So, so as a professor, remember that when you want them to do something that you think that they might not be capable of doing, because it's probably not so, agreeing with the gal in the back, I think Mary. So just do it. So
Give her some noise.
Okay, yeah. So just real quickly for the faculty in the room, this is your chance to ask us anything you want. Is there any like rumor or, you know, burning question or something? Here's your chance to ask us anything. Not obligated, we're just curious, wanted to open it up and say, you know, if you've heard any misconceptions, what?
We've been sort of having this discussion in my institution about instructional design as something that's teaching faculty to fish or giving faculty a fish. And I know there are different schools of thought about instructional designers design every course in a program for faculty.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I'm actually on the side of teaching the faculty. But that being said, I don't think that instructional design should just leave
The mic.
Sorry for our online people. So the discussion is about instructional design as teaching faculty to fish versus giving faculty a fish. So I know that some there are sort of different schools of thought. One school of thought is instructional design. The purpose of instructional design, the role of instructional design is to initially orient faculty to the online learning environment, these tools in the online learning environment, the methods of teaching, the design of the course, and then for faculty to be able to design courses on their own, maybe with some instructional design assistance.
Yep.
And then another school of thought in instructional design is that entire programs or courses are built largely by instructional designers.
Right. And it depends on the infrastructure and support that are put around the programs.
Right. And it also depends on the level of instructional design and the number of instructional designers an institution has.
Right.
But I would just kind of bring that up to invite discussion about that and feedback from, since we have faculty here, what the faculty perspective is on that.
Yeah, right. That's a good question. Yeah, well, people think about that. Do you have a comment?
Well, yeah, just
yeah.
On that. We don't actually have instructional designers, nobody to step up to that monitor.
So we don't have instructional designers per se, but what we do have is structural people. And so what they want to do is to inform us about the structure within which we can perform.
Okay.
Really what I want somebody to do is to come and clean out my head and try to get my goals and be creative with me.
Right.
I can figure out how to do the structure pretty well. I don't need any help with that. And it's irritating to be submitted to that, actually.
Yeah.
So what I really want is for somebody to sit down with me and spend some time to understand what I'm trying to accomplish, rather than to try to give me practice with the tools that we already have.
Yeah, yeah. You want more design and less technology.
I want less design, and less. So I think that's why our people don't call themselves instructional designers
Yeah.
because they're not.
I think that speaks to a larger issue with the instructional design in higher ed, is that there's not a universal understanding of what designers do or what they have to offer. And so the more we can get the word out about that and kind of educate the people that are doing the hiring and the planning to say that yes, that is a valuable resource, then we can kind of, improve that situation. But not saying it hasn't improved over the years, but it's still a big issue.
And we also have to keep in mind that every instructor comes in at a different level. So, storyboarding is really important, especially when I work with a brand new faculty member, taking them through that process so they can see, they understand the content, but how do we put that into an online course?
Hi, so I'm, I guess, a faculty member, mostly been program directing. And at our school, we're very decentralized. Our university, we're very decentralized, school-based sort of approach. And what I've noticed is that most of the schools that are doing more of the, I guess, I hate to say, handing the faculty a fish, but because I think the faculty do learn as they're working with the instructional designer, and then they can next time around, do much more of the fishing.
Yeah.
But those schools seem to be doing, a much better job of, making the process positive for the faculty because they really have a partner there with them, and they're helping them, more quickly get that course up and running, or those programs up and running. They seem to be doing it much more quickly than the ones that have the reverse approach, right? Where I'm going to teach you to fish because the faculty just don't have the time really to do it. So that's just what I've observed.
And at my house, we have both sides because my husband is on the consultant role, and he teaches people to fish. And when he comes home from work, he can be just giddy. Like, somebody asked me a design question today, and he's so excited about it. So, I mean, there is a faculty want it, instructors want to do it. So we need to work on, the planning and how do we make that happen. And then on my side, I would say I wouldn't think about it as handing them a fish, because you want it to be a collaborative process, like you're saying. And so the way I look at it is the faculty has the fish. They have the subject matter, they have the fish. And so I work with them to decide what's the best recipe and how are we going to cook this thing to make it delicious. That's the way I look at the fish situation. Yes, I am. I make sure the temperature is just right, the spices are in the right ratio, and that, yes.
You make sure you do it. You turn the knob. You put all the dressing on.
We do, but they have had a part in everything that's being made, and they get final approval of the recipe that we're going to make. Yeah. So that's our model. Yeah, and we're running short on time. So I just want to point out that this Google Doc is going to be active for a long time. And so if you a lot of information today and you're thinking about things, if you want to come back here, all the questions are there if you want to add them.
Yeah, we would definitely appreciate the conversation to continue.
Yeah, especially if you have tips to share, because we'd like to collect these and make them public. Yeah, and all of the questions are here. And let's see.
They're in the presentation. She did get the
Yes,
presentation
they are in the
slides uploaded.
presentation. We also like to get your ideas on how to continue this conversation. Since we're both involved with the IDA, if we can find ways to get faculty more involved with designers, we'd love to hear about that too. And so, 12-step program for ID.
I love it.
I like to hear about what those 12 steps are sometime. And so here's some things you can do while you're at the conference. People will be at the IDA table if you want to talk about design or with designers more. I'd love to talk to faculty and experts. Faculty go out to dinner with the designer and see what they think about things like that. So here's the link that includes the presentation.
And please make sure that you share your contact information with each other, because that's what this is about. So this is why it's called QM Connect Conference.
And
it's
I
about
can
connecting
make
and
that
collaborating.
bigger so it's easier to see. Yeah, I was just going to make it bigger. And then there was, sorry, bigger.
Any final questions or comments?
I was just going to say one of those tips at the end for how can you continue to stay connected and continue this conversation. I know that I like to get to conferences, and presenting by myself is not, super fun.
Yes.
There are other learning designers in our office, but I would love, love, love to present with faculty. And I think seeing more presentations, especially this time around, that showcase that relationship
Yes.
would be awesome. So if you're a faculty member and you've had an awesome experience with your ID, put something together after you're done developing that course and come out to one of these conferences.
Yep. Definitely.
That's
Question
right.
behind you.
It's about building those bridges.
Are we done? Okay, this is the last one. We're getting the big T.
It's going to be a very quick comment.
Okay, great.
I just wanted to say congratulations to QM staff committee for bringing this topic and making it so vivid and so alive, because it's my third year at the conference, and this one thing that I have noticed, the partnership between faculty and ID, these intertwined stories. By the way, at 2 p.m. there's going to be another one building up on this one.
Right after this
It's
one, there's another one.
So the stories of faculty and designers. So thank you.
Yeah.
I can see it everywhere
And
in
so
addressing this rich topic.
That
Thank you.
reminds me, just really quick, don't forget to fill out the evaluations for the sessions, because this session came from feedback that we got last year. So we read them, we use them. Please share your opinion, because it really shapes the conference. Thank you. Join the IDA. Thanks, everybody.